All right, let's get to the thing that we build it as. That's not English. The 49ers remaining moves. They have about 13, maybe a little bit more cap space. I don't think anyone really knows until the D Ford thing's official. But 13, 14, 15 million in cap space. Maybe 8 million they need to earmark for rookies, maybe less, depending on if they trade those. What do you think the Niners can pull off, should be looking to do right now? Joe Flacco aside, because we all like that.
Yeah, Joe Flacco. I'm curious to know what everybody in the chat thinks here, but I think the biggest need that we have is nickel corner. And I've just told everybody multiple times that we're an aging team, and I do not want to bring back K1. He's injured. He's going to be 30. I don't think that's the right move.
I think they agree with you on that because there seems to be no movement. I don't know. Movement. That's the word.
Why isn't he with the Jets yet? That's surprising to me.
Hey, we don't know Robert Saleh. You know, Robert Saleh's an aw shucks. These players are so great. K1's so great. Maybe privately he's like, I made K1. Look what I did with Jamar Taylor. I don't need to spend $5 million. You just don't know how these people are.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's very true.
That's what Kyle's like. He just doesn't shy. He doesn't hide it. Saleh's very political.
Yes, absolutely. So for me, I want to bring in a guy. I don't know what's going on there. I want to bring in a guy that can play nickel corner, and that's what he's designed to do. But he can also kick to the outside if we have injuries. I want to bring in a guy that's younger than K1.
I like that.
Justin Coleman.
I like that.
That's who I want to bring in.
He was sell me on Justin Coleman.
Yeah. So when he was with Seattle a couple years ago, I believe he was the #1 rated PFF, and a lot of people don't put a ton of stock into it, but there's something to be said about it. He was the #1 rated PFF nickel corner for Seattle. He went over to the Lions, and we know that was a complete dumpster fire over there. He was brought in to be a nickel corner, but when they had tons of injuries, he kicked outside and played pretty decent. He's got the build to play either or, and he showed that he can be effective in both spots. Again, he is more of a nickel corner, but if we have injuries, I can see him sliding to the outside and helping out there as well. Okay,
here's what we're going to do. You lay out what you think the ideal remaining moves are, and I'll react to them. And not whether I like them or not, because I'm going to like them. I like this already. It's do I think the Niners will take your advice? Or what do I think they're going to do?
Okay.
I think they're not going to sign Justin Coleman. Okay. I think they're going to draft a nickel, and I base that on the fact that they should have still had DJ Reed. That should be their nickel. The fact that they let him go and that he's now the starting outside corner for the Seahawks is embarrassing for them. And they need to do something about that. So what they could do, if they sign Justin Coleman, they can do that. Or they could just draft the guy and be like, well, this was our plan all along. We didn't like DJ Reed. This is our plan all along. We wanted to take a nickel in round 1 at the 12th pick or something like that. I don't know. Maybe not the 12th pick.
Well, I think the question is do they think that Emmanuel Mosley can play nickel?
Possible. And you mentioned a guy who can kick outside. Well, that's kind of him.
Yeah. So if they think Emmanuel Mosley can kick inside and be effective there, then maybe. What's that say?
No, this one is, would you go corner or quarterback with our first pick based on our current moves?
I'm still going corner. Because I'm a Kyle Trask guy, and I know that Kyle Trask is going to either be there late round 1 to where we can trade back in and get that 5th-year option, or he's going to fall all the way to us in round 2. So for me,
I like Mosley better in the slot than outside. He competes outside, but he's just not.
He did play there a little bit last year. Yes. And then there was the whole weird thing where they just took him completely out when K1 came back. I don't know.
That's right.
And play. Didn't they choose to play Spoon, who is now not even on the team? Like what was that?
That's true. They did explain that one.
And if K1 was a guy that you weren't planning on bringing back, shouldn't you have played Mosley at the nickel spot then to see if he could? I don't know.
Only thing I can guess is that there's a difference of opinion between Saleh and Shanahan, between Witherspoon and Mosley. Maybe. I get the feeling that Saleh loves Witherspoon and was the reason that Witherspoon kept getting chances. And Shanahan was the one eventually who was like, I don't trust this dude anymore. You're out.
Yeah.
So
that's a possibility.
And I think the Brian Allen fiasco was more of a Shanahan thing than the Saleh thing. But I don't know. I don't know. Okay, keep going with the ideal move. I cut you off. Let's keep going.
So a guy that I've been talking about since you came on my show about 6 weeks ago or so is Cordarrelle Patterson.
Love him.
We need somebody that can be a kick returner for us and a punt returner for us.
Yep.
First and foremost. But we also need somebody on the roster in case Debo gets injured. Or I should say when Debo misses a game or two. And hopefully that's all he misses.
Pattern. That's his pattern.
So for me, Cordarrelle Patterson, he's going to be cheap. He's somebody that we can probably still wait on to sign. But I think that he is a perfect fit for what we want to do on offense so that if somebody goes down, we still have that gadget player that can keep the offense rolling. But more importantly, we start winning on special teams because that is how you can also pick up an extra game or so during the regular season is winning on special teams. And that's not something that we've been doing a very good job at the last few years.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I'm in with Cordarrelle Patterson. Seems like a guy who would take not much more than the veteran minimum. It wouldn't be expensive to bring him on.
It won't be a lot.
He would really help your special teams and give you someone who can run those jet sweeps, and he can even play running back. I mean, he's exactly the kind of player that they hoped Jalen Hurd would be. I mean, come on. He should be on this team. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
And I would say the final.
Will they sign him?
Yeah.
No. You know why? Because Kyle Shanahan loves drafting wide receivers. It's his favorite thing to do. And I think there's probably 2, maybe 1, but there's he drafts 2 a year. He can't help himself.
Yeah.
He cannot help himself. So there's probably 2 right now that he's like, oh man, I gotta have them. So okay, I like the quarterback. I would do the Patterson thing too, but he's going to draft a wide receiver.
You're right. And the other thing too is that he likes drafting gadget guys.
Yes, he does.
Hurd.
Yes, he does. So, and Patterson was the original gadget guy.
Yeah.
So they just want to get probably that. But hey, they should get him. Kyle, I know you're watching.
The last move that I want to make is it's not necessarily bringing in a free agent, but it is trading for somebody that is most likely going to be on the market. That is Anthony Miller. So he's in the last year of his deal with the Bears. They said that they are most likely shopping him. It won't take probably more than a 4th or a 5th to get him. And he plays that slot position that we need very desperately right now.
Works for me.
Anthony Miller is a guy that I want to go after.
Works for me. They definitely need to address that number 3 wide receiver position because although they're not a 3 wide receiver team, Kendrick, that number 3 receiver will play much more than Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah.
Kendrick Bourne always played much more than Kyle Juszczyk. That's a really important player. And Ayuk missed 4 games last year. Debo missed 11 games last year. That number 3 receiver has to be a starting caliber player because he's going to start 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Anthony Miller qualifies. I think there was a reason that the Niners were linked to Juju Smith-Schuster. I think there was something there. They seem to be linked to good starting caliber wide receivers. They haven't gotten any, but maybe Anthony Miller qualifies. Will they trade for Anthony Miller? I wouldn't necessarily say they won't. Maybe that's a guy the Niners coveted in the draft a few years ago, and they feel like this is their opportunity. Kind of like I always got the feeling that Kyle wanted to draft Jerick McKinnon, didn't get an opportunity, and was like, okay, now I'm going to get him. And that worked out well. So maybe, no, he's nothing like Jerick McKinnon. He's really good. No, that would be a good one. Maybe. I think of all the ones you've presented, this is the one that has the best chance to happen because maybe Kyle liked him coming out.
Yeah.
Possibly. But I still think Kyle drafts wide receivers.
more likely than not, they'll probably trade for N'Keal Harry.
Ooh, that's exciting. I did hear that they really liked him coming out.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah. I like that plan.
I've got one more.
Okay.
I've got one more, but we can read the comment if you'd like.
Okay, well, Deathwish says, what do you think about Justin Fields and would you trade up and how much would you give up to trade for him? It doesn't really matter what we think of him. What do we think Kyle thinks of Justin Fields?
I don't think that Kyle's interested. He's not. Everything he's done to this point tells us he's not interested. He's brought in slow-footed, big quarterbacks.
Yep.
Justin Fields is not that. He's very athletic. I just don't think he fits the mold. I don't think he fits the mold. And especially if you're talking about a trade up, again, 2 things that we've said throughout the whole time that we've been doing this segment or show or what have you is 1, he doesn't fit the mold. And 2, with that first pick in the first round, his MO is not to trade up. It's to trade back or stay put. He will trade back into the first round, but he's definitely not going to trade up in that pick.
Does Josh Johnson indicate some type of departure from what Kyle Shanahan is looking for?
Yeah, he could. I mean, they brought him in. They were kind of desperate last year. We thought
desperation.
Yeah. We thought maybe, this is the precursor. This is his way of dipping his toes in the water and seeing if this is the type of quarterback he wants to go with. Well, if that was the case, he has shut the door with a resound. Heck no, that's not what I want to go with.
Yeah. All right, finish up your ideal moves.
Last move, and I know it goes against what I've been saying of bringing back your own guys and running it back, but I think Kerry Hyder is going to be extremely cheap.
I like that. Why would you not bring back Kerry Hyder?
In my opinion, they should have signed him before they did DJ Jones.
I agree. I agree. The guy gives you 8-something sacks. He plays his ass off all year. I mean, no defensive lineman played harder than him. No. He missed what? No games? I don't know. Why would you not bring him back? It worked with him.
I don't know.
It worked.
There's no way that Ford is somebody that you can rely on. I don't think that they believe that Ford is going to play again. And a lot of people were hoping that maybe that was the case when they restructured him. I think that was more of them saying that they knew he's not going to play and they wanted to kick his money back just so that they could find a replacement. And by the way, the money that they saved for him is pretty much what they signed Ebucom for.
Yep. So look, the moves that you've just laid out aren't too ambitious. Kyle John, if you're watching, you still got time. Be ashamed to let Kerry Hyder go somewhere for like $1.5 million, $2 million.
Right.
I think the things that we've laid out are reasonable.